Hey folks, in this video, or the screencast, I'm going to give you an overview of the My Math Lab, where all the course content is located. Let's get started. First off, you may see some stuff on this screencast that you don't see when you log in. In particular, some stuff over here on the left-hand frame. And that's mainly due to the fact that I'm the professor of the course, and so this is in instructor mode. So don't worry about if there's some stuff over here on the left that when you log on you don't see. Just don't let that bother you. Let's see where to start. Well, first off, this is the course homepage. Really can't say there's anything ever I don't want to say useful, but a lot of this is controlled by My Math Lab and not me. So let's get into the really important stuff. First thing we're going to look at is, well, this tab right here that I have called Course Information. So let me click on that. And you see I have 6 items in the Course Information tab. The course syllabus, academic calendar, an orientation, protocol for sending email, a list of the homework exercises that you would do at the end of each section in the e-text, and then answers to the homework problems. So I'm going to go over some of the stuff here, but let me just say that you should print out and have a hard copy of the course syllabus, print out and have a hard copy of the academic calendar, as well as the orientation and the protocol for sending email. I would also print out and have a hard copy of the homework to practice exercises to do. But let's come back to the course syllabus. So again, print out and have a hard copy of the course syllabus. Notice the document, this course syllabus is going to have rules and policies for the course. Looks like there's something else important in the syllabus. So let me click on it, and it opens up as a PDF. So let's see. First off, my email address. This is my email address right here. You need to get a hold of me. This is the email address you use. I do reply to emails in a timely fashion, and usually that's within, no later than 24 hours after you send me an email. I mean, usually it's within, 6 hours because, I'm on email quite a bit. So if you send an email and I haven't replied to it within 24 hours, you've probably used the wrong email address. So jot this down, or you print it out. You print this out, you have a hard copy. You will always see what my email address is. My office is located in B3056. You see my office phone number. And here you will see my office hours. Those are your hours, folks. You can stop by anytime you want during my office hours. That's why I'm there. So please take advantage of my office hours. See, you need my Math Lab access code for the course. You're here, so you know that. Graphing calculator is required for the course. Most people use the TI 83 plus or 84, 84 plus. Those are fine calculators. The grading structure, the class is going to be worth a total of 600 points. One component will be tests. There will be 3 tests. Each test will be worth 120 points. Tests must be proctored. It's the department policy at Lakeland. Tests are taken. Most people take their test in the testing center. You can take the test on any day the test center's open, up to and including the deadline dates. All deadline dates are shown on the academic calendar, which we'll look at that in a minute. Test questions are going to be, similar to what you see in the homework problems. Test coverage, you'll see here, test 1 will be from weeks 1 to 3 of the course, the sections that are covered. Likewise for test 2, test 3, and test 4. Test notes. Well, when you show up to take your test at the test center at Lakeland, just make sure you bring a photo ID. I prefer you use a pencil and your graphing calculator. So, have a photo ID. You need to know my name and what the course is. So you would tell them the professor's name is Armstrong and the course is Math 1650. And um, that's pretty much it. You'll have to sign an academic honesty form. Here are the hours for the test center. So in short, it looks like the test center is open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then they're closed on Sunday. So again, you can take a test any day up to and including the deadline. You can read no extensions. I'll let you read through the rest of this. I'm going to move on to the online quizzes. You're going to have weekly online quizzes, and these online quizzes are going to be completed online at the My Math Lab site. Each quiz will be due on the Sunday that it is assigned, and you'll always know the due date because that's on the academic calendar. An online quiz must be completed in one session. So that means if you open an online quiz to start it, once you start it, you must complete it. If it takes you 2 hours, there will be no time limit. So, it'll take you 2 hours. But you can't quit the quiz and then come back to it, the next day. That will count as one of your attempts. You can do each online quiz up to a maximum of 3 times. So each quiz will be worth 10 points. So there are going to be 12 of them. So that's 120 points that will be possible in quizzes. You already heard each test is worth 120 points, and the final exam is worth 120 points. The deadline for the final exam will be on the academic calendar as well. So that's how the 600 points are comprised. 3 tests at 120 points each, 12 quizzes at 10 points each, and the final exam is 120 points. Also, a quick comment about tests and the final exam. Those two will not have a time limit. So there will be no time limit on your quizzes or tests or final exam. So, if you want an hour and a half to take a test, you'll have an hour and a half. You want 3 hours, you'll have 3 hours. So that's everything that determines your grade. Tests, quizzes, and the final exam. Nothing else is used to determine your final grade. The final grade you earn is determined by how you do on the tests, the quizzes, and the final exam. The homework that is assigned, that's not submitted for points. You do the homework, so you will then be prepared to do the quizzes, which helps prepare you for the tests. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Table 3, I show you the grading scale I use to determine the final grade that you earn. I'll let you read through about assigning course grades. Let's see, general course tips. I already said homework to practice exercises are not collected. Online quizzes, tests, and final exam, they will have problems similar to those in the homework problems. So I really do believe completing the section by section homework practice exercises, that'll be the single most vital element for your success in the course. Keep up with the assigned sections. Don't let it build up. So in other words, don't wait until every Saturday to try to catch up on all the work you should have been doing during the week. Feel free to use email as an opportunity to ask any questions. Again, that's my email address. Here in a little bit, we'll go over a document that I call Protocol for Sending Email. And I'll let you read through the rest of that. Let's see, learning the course material. I've been doing this online class for a while now, and I've kind of come up with this, it's kind of like a 4-step cycle of learning, if you will. So the first step is, you're going to log into My Math Lab, and you're going to go into the e-text. You'll read the e-text for whatever section that you're working on. And while reading the e-text, there will be links to embedded videos and guided visualizations done by the author of the book, which is really kind of cool. I think watching these animations or guided visualizations and videos in conjunction with reading the material there will help prepare you for the practice or the homework exercises. Also, for many of the sections, I'm going to supply you with a link to a YouTube video I made that's highlighting the material in that section. And I may do a few more examples as well. Now, while you're in the e-text reading and watching the author's embedded videos and guided visualizations, after some of the examples, you're going to see what's called a "you try it" practice problem. Might be a good idea that right after you read an example in the e-text, or after you watch the video of doing an example in the e-text, to immediately do or to click on the "you try it" exercises, because that's meant to give you practice to immediately reinforce the concept that was presented in the example. So following that process all the way through the section, you'll then get to the end of the section where you'll find traditional end of section practice problems or homework problems, if you will. So whatever problems I've indicated to do for practice, do them. And then once you do that, now I'm up to step 4 here in my 4-step cycle of learning. Once you do 1, 2, and 3 for all the sections during the week, then you should be prepared to do the online quiz. And acknowledgement of syllabus. I don't know what more to say about this. I mean, that's pretty important. All right, that's the syllabus. So let me, I'm going to close that PDF. Come back. I'm still in the course information tab. In the syllabus, you saw a reference to the academic calendar, so let's check that out. Again, this is a document that you should have a copy of. Make a hard copy. Print this out. Have a hard copy. Right here. Come up here. Print. So the academic calendar, I have it broken down week by week. So week 1, I indicate the 4 sections that will be covered in week 1. And then on Sunday, January 20th, that's the deadline to complete quiz 1. So you have till 11:55 p.m. Remember, you have 3 attempts at quiz 1. Once you start the quiz, though, once you start an attempt on the quiz, you must complete it in 1 session. So then week 2, those are the sections that are covered, and etc. For the entire semester. So you see the deadline dates for quizzes. Deadline for test 1. See, the deadline for test 1 is Saturday, February 9th. This is why I suggest printing this out and have a hard copy. You need to know when the deadlines are. That's your responsibility. Test 2, please make special note that the deadline for test 2 is Friday, March 8th. And the reason why it's on a Friday is because of spring break. Sometimes the test center has different hours on the Saturday. So the deadline for test 2 is Friday, March 8th. You see the deadline for test 3, Saturday, April 13th. And the deadline for the final exam is Wednesday, May 8th. And then also on the academic calendar, it's a little redundancy, but that's okay. I have a box over here showing you the quiz number and the sections that the quiz will cover. And as was shown on the course syllabus, I show you for each test the sections that will be covered for each test. So it's a little bit of redundancy, but that's okay. So academic calendar, print it out, have a hard copy. Know where you can find it so you can always see deadlines. I'm going to close that, and still in the course information tab. Well, let's check out the online orientation. Let's see, documents to have in hand. So again, I'm reminding you of, at least 4 documents here to print out and have a hard copy of. The course syllabus, academic calendar, homework to practice exercises, and the protocol for sending email. Keeping up to date in the class. Every week I am going to post in the My Math Lab, site here in the announcements area, what's called a weekly announcement. So the weekly announcement will give you a reminder of what sections are covered for the week, homework problems to do, reminders of due dates for quizzes and/or tests, and also I will. This is where you will find the link to any video I make for the sections. My YouTube videos. I would post the links in the weekly announcements. I try to post the announcements, the weekly announcements for the subsequent week, sometime on a Sunday morning. How to get help? Well, there's my email address again. Again, that's the main way. So you can email me any questions you have. You could drop by the Math in Minutes table, which is in the Tutoring Center at Lakeland. That's A1044. And you can also sign up to have a tutor through the Tutor Center. And here's a little reminder about taking tests. I've already gone over this. Just highlights 3 tests and a final exam, taken on a drop-in basis at the testing center. You can see the deadline dates on the course syllabus and the academic calendar. Oh, I should mention that during the week of an exam or test, I will have a tab here at the My Math Lab site, where in the tab you will find a study guide as well as a practice test. For the practice test, I supply answers for most of the items on the practice test. And I'll also have a link to a YouTube video where I have worked out solutions for most of the items on the practice test. One more time, the best way to prepare for tests will be to complete the homework to practice exercises for each section. And then online quizzes, again, there are 12 quizzes worth 10 points each. Each quiz has a maximum of 3 attempts. And then once you begin an online quiz, so once you have an attempt, you must complete it in its entirety. So that's the online orientation. I'm going to close out of that. We've seen mention about 4 times or 3 times now to the protocol for sending email. So let me open that up and go over that. First off, email. There's my email address. Okay, I strongly recommend you use your Lakeland email account when sending me an email. Actually, you should get into the habit of checking your Lakeland email, at least once a day. That's how professors will communicate with you. So please use your Lakeland email account to send me an email. One of the main reasons why is, I'm going to have over 120 students this semester, and also, quite a bit of spam seems to come through at times. So if you're using your personal email account, and let's say your personal email is sleekdime@gmail.com, I see that in my inbox. I don't know it's one of my students, but if I see, an at mail, a Lakeland email, I'll know it could be from one of my students. So that's one of the main reasons why I would like you to use your Lakeland email account. Sending me an email, I say number 3, identify yourself. So yeah, if you could just start the email off with a short sentence. For example, I am June Johnson. I'm a student in your Math1650 College Algebra online course. That could just save me a little bit of time. I would greatly appreciate it. Allow time for a reply. I will respond to email each day, so you will get a response from me within 24 hours. Chances are it'll be even quicker than that. I mean, if you send me an email late at night or on a weekend, then it won't be an immediate reply, but you will get a reply within 24 hours. Uh, so if you send me an email and there's no reply within an hour, sending me another email isn't going to cause a quicker response. I will reply within 24 hours. And again, if you send me an email and I haven't replied within 24 hours, chances are you are not using the correct email address. So one more time, that is my correct email address. Be cognizant of your writing tone. Yeah, use complete words and sentences. This is email. You're not sending me a text. Try to state your question as clearly and completely as possible. I know sometimes it's difficult to communicate mathematics via email, but we'll figure it out together. And tips for entering mathematics in an email. Well, we'll work it out together. And that's the protocol for sending email. I want to print this out and have a hard copy on hand. All right, so we've gone over the syllabus, the calendar, the orientation, protocol for sending email. Let's look at the homework to practice exercises. So after you read, watch any videos or animations in the e-text, at the end of the section, you will find homework problems or practice exercises. These exercises are meant for you to do. You're not turning them in. You're not getting points for it, but they will help prepare you for the quizzes and help prepare you for the tests. So I have in this table, and by the way, you should print this out and have a hard copy of this. I have it broken down by section. So for example, section 1.9, the practice exercises start on e-text screen 1.9-17. And the exercises that I think you should do are, well, they're listed, 1, 2, 9, 10, etc. So for example, section 4.5, they start on e-text screen 4.5-26, and I think you should try 1 through 5 odd and 11 through 21 odd. So that's it for all the sections we will cover. So print it out, have a hard copy. Okay, the final thing I have here that I'm not saying print this out and have a hard copy. It's the answers to all those homework problems that I just showed you. I mean, if you want to print this out, you can. If I were a student in this course, I don't think I would, because it's 52 pages long. But these are all the answers. So I mean, we just saw 1.9. So you can, scrolling down, oops, section 1.9 exercises. So, here's the answer to number 1. There's the answer for number 2. There's the answer for number 3. So I think if I were a student in this course, what I would do is when I am going over when I'm doing the homework, in the e-text, I would probably just open this document and leave it opened as a tab. And that way I could toggle over and I could check my answers. But if you want to print out a hard copy, you can. So one more time. This is the course information tab where you will find the course syllabus. Print it out, have a hard copy. Something really important is in it. Academic calendar shows on a week-by-week basis sections that are covered, and it will show due dates for quizzes and due dates for every test as well as the final exam. So print out a hard copy of that. Online orientation kind of gave an overview of what we saw in the syllabus and the academic calendar. Protocol for sending email, you should print that out and have a hard copy of that on hand. And the homework to practice exercises. Yes, you should print that out and have a hard copy of that on hand. So the next item that we're going to look at and here will be, well, let's look at your online quizzes. So here they are. Here's where your online quizzes will be. Like I said, you have a total of 12 of them, and they're all in here ready to go. You also notice you see the deadline when they're due, so it's another area that you'll see deadline for quizzes. But when you're ready to do a quiz, you'll click on this, and you'll be good to go. The one thing I'll say is please follow the directions carefully in submitting answers for the online quizzes. So if you're doing a problem and the answer says to submit your answer as a fraction and make sure that it is simplified. And if you enter the answer, let's say the answer you enter is 2/4, it will be marked wrong. 2/4 would not be correct. Simplified, the correct answer would be 1/2. So a lot of times when you answer something, you'll want to say that you'll want to believe you had the correct answer, but you didn't exactly follow the directions. So please follow the directions carefully. They're very good about giving explicit directions. So that's where your online quizzes are. Let's see next, gradebook. So this is where you will click. I mean, there's nothing in here right now for me. I haven't done any quizzes. But this is where you click, and it will always show you what your current grade is. So after you take a quiz, the quiz will go into the grade book, and it will show you what your percent is in the class. Once you take a test, I will submit the test into the grade book, and you'll not only see your test score, but it will update your overall percentage. So every time you do something, a quiz or I enter a test score, you will always know your grade by checking out the grade book. So there's really no reason why you would never know what your standing is in this class, because you can always come over here and click the grade book, and it will show you where you currently stand. Let me come back up here and look at the announcements. These are where you will find the weekly announcements. So right now, the only announcement you'll be able to see is for week 1. So let me click on that. So this is where I post the weekly announcements, is in the announcement area. I post them every Sunday morning. So this weekly announcement starts off actually with a quick welcome to the course, and it's reminding you of what documents you should print out from the course information area. That's even in bold. Week 1. So the week 1 announcements. So I'm saying week 1 goes from Monday, January 14th to Sunday, January 20th. And then I have here that I've created a preview video for each section. And let's see, it looks like I have a video for each of the 4 sections in the first week. So, I'm just going to click on one of these and let's see what happens. Actually, let me go back because I didn't follow my own directions. Right click and open in a new tab. So I would recommend actually opening this in a new tab.
All right, folks, we're going to look at how to solve some polynomial inequalities and rational inequalities. And
so let me pause that. Sometimes I suggest going to full screen. Always make sure that the little gear wheel here shows that it's HD. If it's not, click on that and make sure you get it into HD. But that's full screen. So you click on that, may put it in full screen. But in one of my videos, I'm just going to do some practice.
So I'm going to show you how to use a sign diagram in order to do this. It might be a little bit different than what you see in your book.
So again, I got out of the full screen mode. in this video, I will go over some examples. And I have I have a video for section 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 as well. So as I said earlier, for most of the sections, I will have videos to go over some of the material. If I would follow my directions also, right-click on the link and open in a new tab. So continuing on with the week 1 announcement, I remind you in week 1, this is on the academic calendar, but I'm reminding you of the sections that are covered. I remind you of, on a section-by-section basis, the exercises to do and the e-text screen on which they begin. You see this in the e-text homework to practice exercises document that was in the course information area, but I just mention it again here in the week 1 announcements. On the academic calendar, you know when the deadline for online quiz 1 is, but I mention it again here in the weekly announcement. It's Sunday, January 20th. So that's what a weekly announcement will kind of entail. We'll have links to videos that I've made for the sections, and it will kind of remind you of the sections to cover, homework problems to do, deadlines, any deadlines that come up. So that's your weekly announcement area. So let me go back to the main menu. So again, announcements. The announcements tab, that is where you will find the weekly announcements. Okay, we've gone over course information, online quizzes, grade book. Let's look at a test preparation tab. I mentioned this earlier. I already have test 1 preparation tab populated for you. So when you get ready for test 1, you'll see in a weekly announcement, I'll tell you when a test preparation tab's open. So it'd be like the week 3 weekly announcements, but I already have it open for you. Typical stuff you'll find in a test preparation tab: a study guide, a practice test, and answers to the practice test. And as I say, it's to most items. Practice test is really, I try to give you an idea of what to expect on the test. How the format will be, the type of problems that you'll see. And then I also have solutions for most of the items on the practice test. Let's look at the test 1 practice or the study guide. So I remind you of a lot of stuff up here, and then I say, hey, to really, really help you focus for test 1. In section 1.9, where those exercises began on 1.9-17, really focus on those 4 exercises, and etc. And then, you have a practice test. You could, click print it out and have a hard copy and take it, without looking at anything, just to see how you do. But that's generally what you'll find in a test preparation tab. So the one thing we haven't looked at yet over here is the e-text. So let me go ahead and click on the e-text. So it says read e-text, and then I have to click here, and that's opening the text, so we're going to wait a little bit. So the first section in week 1 was section 1.9. So these are the table of contents. So I come over here and let me open chapter 1. Let me click on 1.9. Up here it tells me that I'm on page 1.9-1. So it's like the first page of section 1.9. I can use this, click on this button to go to the next page, and go to the next page. It's kind of like where the section begins. This looks like a typical math book. It starts off and it's like, hey, here's an example, and you can read through how to solve this example. For this example, there happens to be a video solution. So you could read through the solution, or you could watch the solution, or you could read through and then watch, But I mentioned this earlier. These are the embedded videos that the author of the textbook has, here in the e-text. So it looks like this video, you see the length of it.
In this example, we want to solve a typical polynomial inequality. Here I have the inequality, x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x is greater than or equal to 0. Now the process for solving polynomial inequalities is rather lengthy, so I'll try to go slow. And remember, you can always put the video on pause or rewind.
All right, that guy was the author of the book, and he's the one that has these embedded videos, which is kind of cool. So let me just kind of, go through it, click some more. There's another example. So example 2, I don't see a video icon here, but it looks like something I can just kind of read through. And keep going in example 2. Example 2, okay, this is the end of example 2. So after example 2, now we see these you try it problems. So if I click on this, and I mentioned this earlier, after doing some examples in the e-text, you will find these you try it's. And this is meant to immediately practice the concept or skills that were just shown in the example. So let me click on this you try it, just to show you what it looks like. Solve the polynomial inequality, move all terms to one side of the inequality, leaving 0 on the other side. So it looks like, we'd have to have what, an x. Yeah, so it's x squared. So let's see, how do I get an exponent? Right here. X squared minus 11x plus 28. Okay, and then I can come down here and I can say, okay, how did I do? It says, all right, Bill, you did a good job. And I go, okay. Now it's saying factor, so factor the non-zero. See, these are these directions I was telling you about. See, simplify your answer, factor completely. Simplify your answer, do not factor. So if up here I'd entered the factored version, it wouldn't have been happy because it said do not factor. But I just wanted to give you a heads up, show you what that looks like. I'm not going to continue on with this problem, but it's going to take you through kind of step by step, kind of meant to practice and reinforce what you've just learned. Kind of a cool feature. Okay, the homework problems, or the end of the section practice problems or exercises, whatever you want to call them, for this section started on page 1, on screen 1.9-17. So let me come up here and let me just type that in to immediately jump to the exercises. And you can see where the exercises begin. It's important to make sure of the correct e-text screen you're on, because the page before 1.9-16, there are some of these things. They're like skill check exercises. Those aren't the homework problems I have listed for you to do in this section. On the document that you're supposed to print out, and as we just saw in the weekly announcements as well, I said do the homework problems that start on 1.9-17. So it'd be these here. There's one more thing here in the e-text I wanted to show you. I mentioned this earlier. I talked about animations or guided visualizations. So there's one I just wanted to show you. It's in chapter 2. So let me just open chapter 2, section 2.3, and I believe we'll find it on 2.3-4. Yeah, see, let's look here. Click on the guided visualization icon below. Take some time to explore slope of a line. So if I click on this, so up here it gives me display options, and it's like, well, if I'm gonna move these points, because that's what the directions say, I'd like to see what the slope formula is. That's kind of cool. And I'd like to see what the slope actually is. And so now it's like, well, I can move this All right, that's neat. I saw how the slope changed as I moved that point. Well, what if I move this point? Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, now the slope's negative. But that's like a guided visualization. You have control over how you see things, and you can practice. And I kind of went through that really quickly. Um, but I just wanted to show you. I mentioned it earlier, a guided visualization or um, an animation. But I'm going to close that now. I'm going to close the e-text, and let's see. I'm going to just click on course homepage. And I think we've gone over everything. I've shown you this is where you will find your weekly announcements. Week 1, and then, when I post week 2, you'll be able to access it. You probably don't see this now. Uh, course information. This tab, a lot of important stuff. Final comment on that. This is where you'll click to read the e-text. Click on e-text. Here's your online quizzes tab. Gradebook. Always click on that. You always know what your current grade is in the class. It's kind of nice. Preparation tabs for tests. Down here you have an option. If you wanted to look at this thing called a guided notebook, um, you know, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'll let you approach this. Um, if you're interested in using it, um, I just I'm going to close it. I'm not going to say anything more. Uh, tools for success. How do I enter my answers? Just like some general items that may have been and may be important. Depending upon your perspective. There's a graphing calculator, reference card. But in short, that's it. So that's it for this introductory Getting Acquainted My Math Lab screencast. So you're ready now to get started on the work. One more thing. Your grade is only determined by tests, online quizzes, and the final exam. Anything else that may pop up, when I say may pop up, I'm talking about the e-text, or you may see in a grade book somewhere about reading assessments and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. I've shown you what you need to do to be successful in the course. So now it's time for you to, get started on the material. So that's it. Good luck. Have a good semester. And thanks for watching.